Well, hey there, team. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a bit more Stationeers. So it's been really interesting hearing what people have to say about this problem. There's been a whole variety of options from the relatively simple to the relatively complex. I am a slave to that sort of mentality as well, where I can overcomplicate, over-engineer a problem. I'm sure we've all suffered from that at some stage. But some people pointed out the easiest way to fix this whole problem would be to put a passive vent instead of an active vent. Because while the pressure regulator in this essentially has an internal volume pump, it's not just that it's a lockout, right? So if you say 100 kPa pressure here, you would kind of assume that it would just lock it, right? But from what I can understand, if it's not up to 100 kPa in that pipe, the passive, this will actually draw from there. So it's not just a lock to stop pressure coming through, it's also a draw. So even though it'll be kind of slow because it's a passive vent and it's a low pressure environment, it will eventually bring it up to speed, and we're not in a hurry to speed it all up anyway. So it's a pretty elegant solution. And I appreciate everyone helping us out with that. Now, 500. Yeah, yep, cool. So let's do exactly that. So we'll have to get a passive vent, but it's one of those things that might not be immediately intuitive. I mean, that's why I didn't think of the solution immediately as well. But again, you guys all come to the rescue. I much appreciate it. This should still need power, I believe, because that's just how it works. I mean, I guess if it is drawing, pumping, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying draw, but I probably shouldn't say that. That sounds more like of an electronic term. Let's just piss him off. Right? But yeah, if it's pumping, it needs something to fuel that process, right? Cool. And then we just set that to... Well, we've got it at 0. How could we test this? What's that at? 500. Go to 6. So there you go. Ever so slowly, it's drawing that in. I wonder what the pressure max threshold is for this tank, right? Someone said that the threshold for... Excuse me. Quick little tickle. Someone said that the threshold for these pipes is 5.5 MPa, right? So I'm curious, can this take 5.5 MPa? I don't think it can. So, like, I would think, well, what would burst first, the storage or the pipe? It's an interesting question. Surely you can't store more than a pipe can deliver it. Like, that's the only way to deliver gas to it. Don't know. I'd be curious what people have to say, to be perfectly honest. Anyhow, that should fill up to, there you go, 600 plus change. And then it locks it out. And just to be sure, because, you know, we enjoy the scientific method, there you go, 600. Now, it's still pumping a little bit in. I'm assuming it's because the pressure is going to change because the temperature is going to change. But it'll sort of contract and expand. So there will be, you know, it's not going to be exactly 600. It might go over a little bit, but by the time we've done like a day cycle and this thing sorts out, it's sort of, let's say it's average over one cycle, it's sort of heat containment or capacitance or whatever you'd like to call it, then we will probably end up with, I don't know, 610 or something like that. But it won't draw anymore, because it won't draw. It shouldn't draw anymore. Unless it cools? Yeah. But it should be right. We'll work it out. I better do my rounds. I feel like I haven't done that in a while. It's probably going to be a bloody blisteringly hot room in here. Yeah, they're not loving life. Little fire symbol on the external temperature. Okay. So little farm's doing alright, so that's nice. Cool. Now what are we at here? 24 kPa and 53 degrees. A little warm. Set outward. Yeah, it should be outward. Are we going to draw that in? I don't like having that pressure that high. 30 degrees. Yeah, I think we've hit our cooling sort of capacity there. We'll get that pressure back down. Yeah, okay, so... just draw in a touch. There you go. 26 degrees. Look, that'll do for the moment. It'll survive. You know what, we'll let that draw in a little bit more. We just got to be careful. Well, I think the pipes can probably take it. Oh. Quite the experiment we did there. You know what, that might be blocking its ability to cool as well. Oh, look at that. It's not even 1 MPa. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, that was probably serving as insulation also. Like, we did that as an experiment, remember, to see if it would hide the pipes, but I never took it back down. Oh, well. And that's how you kill yourself. Alright, so cool. So that's good. We've now got our sort of Martian gas infinite reservoir at the amount that we set it to. How exciting. But we need to filter it. Like, we can't just pump it in raw. As we sort of discussed previously, we pump it in, right? You know, you breathe in some oxygen, you make CO2, whatever. You might lose some air or recycle. But essentially, this is an infinite feed at a certain pressure. And it's just going to be pumping in more pollutants, more oxygen, probably more than what we need. So yeah, we have to start filtering. So, what do we got? We've got CO2. Now, how much CO2 in the air before it poisons us? Because there's got to be some CO2. Now, obviously not 95%. So we're going to have a lot of like waste CO2. But that's something that I find interesting. Okay, so when it comes to filtering is just a straight process. It's not like you can filter a percentage out, if that makes sense. So I believe what we're probably going to need to do here, like even going in, say it's 1% and 3% for nitrogen and oxygen, right? That ratio still seems a bit high to me. Do you know what I mean? That still seems like there's too much oxygen. I don't know if that's the cleanest ratio. So even if hypothetically we filtered out all the CO2 and all the X and just constantly harvested O2 and N2, I still am not confident that that's the right mixture. And also bear in mind that we potentially want to grow plants and that in there. And I think they can grow with the tiniest percent of CO2 in the air, just as long as there's some in there. So what I'm sort of getting at is I don't think there's a shortcut where we could just filter out some of the gas and pump the rest in. I think what we're actually going to need to do is separate all of the gases into separate tanks, I suppose. I think someone pointed out a solution to this. Maybe the fixed tank kit has a data input or reader. Like it can output the pressure that's in the tank, which would be a solution to this problem as well. So I'm going to have to not pay those off and have a look at it. In fact, that's what I'll do right now is we'll queue up a tank kit because we should have unlocked it when we... Yeah, okay, what's it going to take? Steel and copper. A lot of steel. Holy shit. But a tiny bit more copper. Do we have any more copper? There's our steel there. Yeah, so I'm just sort of figuring it out in my head as we go, right? So, let's cook up the copper. We'll chuck the steel in. Oh, that might not be enough steel. I kind of assumed that we'd have enough. No. So we're going to have to do... What have we got in this belt? I mean, we've got coal. Oh, that's clever. You can just mouse over it and it sort of tells you what's going on. If we're quick about it, we could probably do it right now. Because it's still night time. Okay, so 30... Oh, hang on. Hang on, it won't be that straightforward. I might put a stack of volatile in here as well. Put that back. I can put this on the ground. Alright, is it a 3-to-1 ratio? It should be, right? So 30... I've only had 39. I'll have enough coal. So... Because we need to go fast. The sun's probably going to come up any second now.
Hunger. Caution.
Oh no. Oh, actually, I'm having a bit of a brain moment. I remembered. Oh, I've probably made this take longer now. Great. All right, 50. But it's 3-to-1. I guess I could go 60 and 20, right? That might be the quickest. Right? Oh, now we're racing against the clock. All right. What am I doing? What am I doing? Wait, where'd my big stack go? Oh no. What's rolled over here? God damn it. Oh, I might as well split it all here. Yeah, we want to do 60, right? Yeah, that'll do. Fuck it, we'll do the coal while we're here as well. Oh, the sun's coming up! No! I don't think I can do this in time. Oh, it's 60-20.
Filter low.
Shut up! I don't think we can do this. Where'd my other one go? Ugh! No! Damn it! It's just, I can't get it in. No good. I mean... Yeah, and I can't split ores when they're not in my hand either. Oh, it's bugger. Can I leave these here? Okay, at least we've got that sorted. Bugger! Yeah, 60-20, cool. So we'll make a whole bunch of steel out of that. Alright, so we're gonna have to wait for the tank for the moment. Let's, pop that down here. Filter and hunger. How are we doing for filters? Toodles. Alright, so to resume, essentially we're going to need to filter all that out. I mean, we could probably do it with this, right? Is this a... This is an air conditioner. But was this not like an all-in-one kit, perhaps? We're definitely getting out of my wheelhouse now. Like, this is stuff that I enjoy doing, but I just haven't really done it yet. Air conditioner, filtration, electrolyzer, and H2 combustor. Oh, that sounds cool. Filtration is where it's at. Alright, well let's have a bloody squizzle. Alright, what we got? We got data and we got power in. Okay. Filtration filtered. Okay. It's a 2-gas filter. Filtration input. Filtration unfiltered. Okay, so we can see where this is going already. Now, what we could probably get away with, pollutant is inert as well, right? I believe it is. CO2, like CO2 is, we could vent CO2 into the atmosphere and we're not going to, you know, I don't want to accidentally, you know, have a bloody vent of volatiles coming out next to these machines that create sparks, which they do. That's how I've blown myself, or I think they do. But you know what I mean? Like, we just don't want to be venting something that can explode. So I think what we could do is we could filter. I know we said that we probably want to put CO2 and all that into the system at a later stage. We'll revisit that. For the first part, let's put this filter on, right? And we'll be able to vent all the X and the CO2. Oh, we might actually be able to lay these foundations now. I've already got some steel ready to go, right? Oh, we do have some iron. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't have it turned on. All good. So, let's get some foundations going. Steel sheets, yeah, I could use 2 of them. Can I press this again to turn it off? To stop it? I can. Okay, cool. I'll forget that, I'm sure. Oh. So we'll expand our little operation out a little bit. Frame. Frame. Okay. We should probably drill all this shit out of the way. Because, you know, knowing my luck, I will clip on it and explode. It'll be like, suit damaged. Thanks, Shaz. Wait, was there some sort of ore under there just then? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. So we're going to place this here. Filtration input, right? Okay. Filtration unfiltered. Alright. You had to place it all that way, didn't you? You're going to make it all a bit of a mess for me. Because that's our input there. Oh man, there's no real easy way to... Well, I mean, I guess the unfiltered could just go into a vent. Like I said, I don't really care if it's venting unfiltered inert gases into the bloody environment. Probably want it away from this, you know what I mean? So we don't vent it and it just gets sucked back into that intake. That'd be interesting, actually. Actually, that's, like, as much as I'm having a giggle about it, that's legit. We need to seriously consider that. Yeah, we could probably do something like that, actually. Right, so that goes in, the pipe will run around the back, and we can put the... Yeah, that's perfect. That's how we're going to do it. Alright. So we'll run the power around the back. Put some filters in here. What we're going to... In case I haven't made it clear, sorry. I do my best, but I have a very noisy mind. There's a lot rattling around in there. We filter out the CO2 and the X, and we're just blasting it into space through a passive vent, right? So then we're going to have only the other two left over. God help us if we got like volatile and all that in the system. Like, to a certain point, we probably should have a filter in there as a form of sort of redundancy. Because if I decide to drop some volatiles on this vent, there'll be nothing stopping that going into our circulation as a sort of safety method. But we'll get there, one thing at a time. We've got to be careful. I've done this with previous playthroughs. When I go a little bit too hard on the redundancy levels, which I love to do. But, oh no, the iron's up here. But then you sort of, you know, you're going to get bogged down. It's already a slow-moving playthrough because of the nature of what we're doing. So we don't want to get too slow. Alright, pipe. I think 4 might do it. Maybe?
Power low.
Okay, let's deal with that now. Someone suggested... I just remembered. Using this solar panel and potentially having a battery sit in it. Which I think is a fantastic idea. I mean, I know it's fully charged, but we'll leave that there so we remember. If for some reason everything went sideways, we had no coal, the grid was dead, it was all done... I don't know, I had no wrenches, so I couldn't readjust the solar panel. This thing is a totally separate backup battery grid, in inverted commas. And this is of the realization of what I was trying to verbalize previously. I just, you know, it was still a thought experiment. I hadn't gotten there yet. That we need a separate system to be able to jumpstart the main system if needs be. So at the very least, if everything went to shit, we've got this spare battery over here that we can jam it into here. And then we can start the whole bloody grid going again by readjusting the dish. So that's where I was trying to go with it previously. All right, so filtration unfiltered, filtration filtered. We're gonna need another. Actually, can we just turn that off? Yeah, good, because we don't... It's drawing unnecessary power. This needs to stay on. Need another passive vent. As an exhaust. Now, I mean, a later version of this, we... Can I actually attach that straight on? Maybe. I feel like maybe learn my lesson, you know? From the previous kerfuffle and just do that. Right? Yeah. And we're gonna need a cable. Yeah, so later iteration we will potentially capture these gases. I think pollutant, from what people have told me, is due to its heat capacitance, it is probably the GO for using as a coolant gas. I think it's the best in the game. And then CO2 obviously has its value also with plants.
Jet tech on.
Yeah, and we're just going to vent the bloody waste gases and pollutants straight into the atmosphere. It wouldn't be a scarlet bloody patented design if I wasn't doing that. That's the true sign of progress in industry, is all the pollutants. That was interesting. Connecting that on there, disconnected that for a split second. Very interesting. What we probably could do, because we're going to run the pipe around the back there. Or no. You know what? I will put this there, but I was actually going to be like, what if we just start, put the filters in and start the system? The thing is, this system will infinitely pump, potentially, and blow that pipe up. You know what I mean? We're revisiting a similar problem. So, like, this will just always draw in more atmosphere. This will filter out the little bit we need and pump that out. So this is all going to be working pretty overtime. But it won't ever stop until I tell it to stop. And that's going to be interesting, right? Because we're going to have to introduce a throttle there. How's that going to work? If I put a pressure... Say I put a pressure regulator... Well, we're revisiting the same problem, except we can't have an exhaust vent like that for the filtered gear. So say we had too much filtered air and atmosphere. I mean, we're going to need to run this into a tank. You know what? I think I can think of it as well. Someone else's solution about how the fixed tank has a data readout. Yeah. We might be able to use that as a throttle by running it into a fixed tank as opposed to a portable tank. Interesting. Team, that's another episode in the bank. Let me know what you reckon. I always love to hear it. I hope it's clear what I'm doing and we're all on the same page. Might just leave it there for the time being and I'll catch you guys on the next one.